This is In the Loop. I'm Christian Bryant. If you've been looking for deep dives and distinctive reporting, that is specific, but you're in the right place. We've got plenty of that in today's show. But first, since the leak of the Supreme Court draft back in early May that would overturn Roe v. Wade, there's been a lot of speculation about what the future of abortion rights in America could look like and how that decision would change access from state to state.
I'm thankful it was leaked. I think that in the end, it could help our case. It could help prevent something disastrous for our country. So my concern really isn't hunting down who leaked it. My concern is making sure that this does not go through.
If the court does adopt the initial draft majority opinion by Justice Samuel Alito, at least 26 states are certain or likely to ban abortion. Some of those states have pre-Roe abortion bans, and others have passed so-called trigger laws, which would ban abortion immediately if Roe is overturned. This means that roughly half of states would have restricted access, leaving people to turn to the states on the east and west coasts that are likely to keep access to abortion in place. However, a lot of people living in places where abortion rights are restricted might not have the means to travel to other states. They would have to consider the costs of travel, including finding a place to stay, childcare if necessary, and lost pay for missed work. If they were able to travel, here's a bit of a roadmap of what that might look like for some. According to the Guttmacher Institute, an abortion rights advocacy and research group, data shows that in a post-Roe world, the average driving distance for a Mississippi woman, aged 15 to 44, to reach a clinic would increase from 78 miles to 380 miles each way. Mississippi only has one abortion clinic, the Jackson Women's Health Organization. Executive Director Shannon BREWER says she wasn't surprised by the leaked draft at all.
We see women of all races, all ages, all colors here. The women who are going to be able to travel and have financial means to go to other facilities, it won't affect them because they can do that. It's going to affect, which is our majority, the women who cannot do that.
After the 6-week abortion ban went into effect in Texas, Planned Parenthood clinics in 5 neighboring states said they saw a nearly 800% increase in abortion patients from Texas. California is projected to see a nearly 3,000% increase of people from states with total abortion bans, many of them traveling from Arizona. And North Carolina is expected to see an even steeper increase of more than 4,500%, with people likely traveling from about 10 states that would have a total ban on abortion, including Tennessee.
We are going to provide abortions, like I said, until the very last second that we can't in Tennessee. But we really hope that is as close to August as we can get, but we're not sure just yet.
Efforts are already underway along some state borders to help ensure safe travel for patients seeking out-of-state abortions. Newsy national correspondent Sam Eaton takes us to the Idaho-Oregon border, where they are already preparing for interstate travel in a post-Roe America.
The new frontier in the battle over abortion rights may play out in small state-line towns like this one.
You see that yellow building through there? That's it. So just the other side of the co-op.
John Kirby, who owns the local Ontario, Oregon hardware store, points to the rumored location of a new Planned Parenthood clinic, a first for this conservative eastern Oregon town just across the river from Idaho. 2 trigger laws there would criminalize abortion 30 days after the Supreme Court's imminent ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade. But in Oregon, the right to an abortion is firmly protected, making Ontario and this future Planned Parenthood clinic the closest place to get a legal abortion in a post-Roe Idaho. And Kirby, who also serves on the Ontario City Council, isn't happy about it.
That's what they do in Western Oregon. That's not what we in Eastern Oregon want to portray. It's just a different lifestyle.
Kirby says Ontario, less than an hour's drive from Boise, has already become Idaho's hub for recreational marijuana sales, which are legal in Oregon. Now, with abortions coming to town, Kirby jokingly muses as to what's next.
So if we could get prostitution, we'd have a trifecta.
Oregon recently approved $15 million in new funding to help cover abortion costs for patients traveling from other states, a demand projected to more than double once the Idaho ban goes into effect. This river behind me marks the state line between Oregon and Idaho. But in a post-Roe world, it will become one of the new dividing lines in a fractured America, with abortion being legal on one side and completely banned on the other. The Guttmacher Institute, which supports abortion rights, estimates 26 states are certain or likely to ban abortion if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade in the coming months. A monumental shift that would split the nation in half as Republican-led states impose abortion bans and Democratic ones like Washington and Oregon push to ease access for patients traveling from neighboring states. As these legal boundaries for abortion are redrawn in the U.S., abortion providers are rethinking their approach to care. At a Seattle Planned Parenthood clinic, Erin Berry, a physician and medical director for Planned Parenthood Washington, takes a break between back-to-back appointments. She says in the past month, she's seen multiple patients travel from Texas and Oklahoma, where abortion is now banned. Once Idaho and likely Montana join that list, Berry expects the number of out-of-state clients to surge.
A few months ago, we had safe legal abortion in all 50 states, and that's going to go away. You know, we are going to live in America where access is a huge patchwork.
As Washington braces for a projected fourfold increase in patients from Idaho seeking abortions, Berry says Planned Parenthood is pouring resources and staff into call centers and patient navigators to help them coordinate travel and find services. Berry says abortion will never go away, but there's only so much they can do.
Because the law will tie our hands to be able to provide appropriate medical care. And that's chilling. Yeah.
The 60-foot-tall Table Rock cross overlooking Boise is a reminder of a long-standing separation of church and state debate in Idaho. A debate BLAINE CONZATTI with the Idaho Family Policy Center says has finally been won.
We're blessed in this state to have legislators who have a gut reaction to the horror of abortion violence and want to do something about it.
From this small church next to an Albertsons parking lot, CONZATTI penned one of Idaho's most restrictive abortion laws. Now on appeal, the law was modeled after last year's 6-week ban in Texas that allows civil suits against doctors who perform abortions. CONZATTI says these restrictions in Idaho are just the beginning.
We believe that abortion is homicide, and that the abortionist who commits the crime is essentially acting as an assassin for hire, right? A hitman. And so we would like to see abortion treated the same in Idaho code as any other type of murder.
CONZATTI is also pushing to outlaw emergency contraceptives and IUDs. But he admits his hands are tied when it comes to preventing Idaho residents from seeking abortions in neighboring states.
Yeah, unfortunately, Idaho doesn't have jurisdiction outside of its borders.
Are there ways that you can, through legislation or through laws, prevent women from going across state lines to receive an abortion?
There are ways to do that. I am not looking at that option right now.
In Oregon, John Kirby says as the U.S. becomes more and more polarized around these issues, some of the state lines that define them may no longer make sense in a post-Roe v. Wade America.
You know, there's a movement in Oregon to separate multiple counties away and become part of what's termed as Greater Idaho. And they've got their challenges, but this is the type of thing that portrays that flavor. The rest of Oregon is so far away from us, you know, that's not our lifestyle. We're Idaho.
Kirby says ultimately it's Ontario's reputation that's at stake. But Eddie Melendres, a new younger member on the city council, questions whose reputation Kirby is speaking of.
It kind of rubs me a little wrong because I'm thinking, like, what Ontario are they talking about?
Melendres, a former agricultural worker who now helps at-risk youth, says Ontario is the poorest city in Oregon. Nearly a third of the population here falls below the federal poverty level. And he says city leaders continually reject measures that would help. That's why he chose to speak out in a recent city council meeting about the new Planned Parenthood clinic. But the real litmus test, he says, was his 9-year-old daughter.
She looked at me, she goes, "And what did you say, papi?" She goes, "What did you say?" And I said, "Well, I said that women should have the right to choose what they want with their body." And then she's like, "Oh, that's good."
Melendres says he's dedicated his life to helping youth who lack resources and support. And he says that's what this community should be focused on, the kids that are here now. Sam Eaton, Newsy, Ontario, Oregon.